And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Who did Terrence Crawford fight his 11th fight?
I don't know.
Who did Arthur Beterbiev fight? Jake Paul has found a way to make himself the cash cow early in his career to where we shouldn't care.
Jake Paul has become the fighter right now that everybody wants to fight because right now he is the cash cow. He made $40 million just off of Netflix.
He has found a way to do something with his following, get under people's skin to make people care about these fights.
Jake Paul is really putting himself in danger. At the most recent press meeting, Jake leans in close to Anthony Joshua, stares him straight in the eyes, and almost says, "I lend you." There were cameras, reporters, and Joshua looking confused across the table. The strangest thing about this is that it's no longer a fight over a grudge. At first, Jake Paul was supposed to fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis at cruiserweight. Now, he has to fight a former joint heavyweight champion who has beaten real giants. From Tank versus Jake on Netflix to Jake pointing at Anthony Joshua on stage and going crazy. How did that happen? Some organizers and experts are scared of what could happen on fight night. Let's take a look. A lot of people thought Jake's big Netflix moment was over for the year when the fight with Gervonta Davis fell through. The plan for the Miami show was made. There were signs up. There was more and more talk. Then a boom. A case for domestic abuse. Laws are a mess. Statements meant to promote. We strongly disagree with murder. It's not going to happen.
Who is the biggest star in boxing? Tank Davis. Enjoying the beat of the game is Miami resident, hip-hop star, influencer Ruby Rose.
Hey, Nikki's right there. That's what I'm talking about.
My man, move out the way.
No.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis, November 14th.
Jake's dance partner went away, and Netflix lost its main star. Jake Paul does not, however, vanish. He didn't come back to fight former MMA fighters or random people. Instead, he did something strange. He moved up the food chain and faced the most dangerous opponent he had ever faced. Tank is lighter than this. Tyson, on the other hand, is in his late 50s and no longer a big deal. A real heavyweight killer who is still working. John Anthony Joshua.
Who is the biggest star in boxing? Tank Davis. Enjoying the beat of the game is Miami resident, hip-hop star, influencer Ruby Rose.
Hey, Nikki's right there. That's what I'm talking about.
My man, move out the way.
No.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis, November 14th.
And the energy changed when that struggle became real. No longer is this a cute little crossing. It is official that this is a heavyweight fight. There will be 8 rounds, real gloves, rules, and penalties.
He has people around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no? How can you say no? What am I missing?
Let's skip ahead to the big fight. On one side is AJ, who is nice, cool, and smart about how to deal with the media. He is talking about legacy and keeping himself busy before Tyson Fury. Jake is on the other side, selling chaos, which is what he does best. At first, it seems like any other news gathering with Jake Paul. There were jokes, joking, and small jabs about AJ's losses and how he's changed since Usyk and Ngannou. But all of a sudden, the mood changed. In person, the change in size stands out. Joshua is 66 years old, and on fight night, he usually weighs around 250 pounds. Even after getting bigger for Mike Tyson, Jake weighed about 227 pounds. He can normally hold up to 200 pounds and is a cruiserweight.
Jake Paul's talking about fighting Gervonta Davis, who's 135 pounds. And then on the other hand, he's talking about fighting 260-pound monster in Anthony Joshua. Listen, he's crazy enough to probably do it all if the money's right. But we're not really interested in waiting until 2016. And we're certainly not basing our career around a potential fight with Jake Paul. But if we were offered it, why not? I mean, it would be such an easy night's work, and it would be massive. And Jake's smart. Look, I know that we have our back and forth. Jake's improving as a fighter, and you have to respect the fact that he's dedicated not just to the business, but also the hard graft of boxing. I still don't think he's particularly good, but he's a decent, some level fighter. But he's crazy. You know, at first, I always felt that Jake was just using these people's names. I think he's got that many people around him that I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's got a chance against Anthony Joshua. You know, Jake, I watched him. Jake, you'll knock him out. Yeah. It's like, you know, but, you know, there's a difference between fighting Gervonta Davis, even Canelo Alvarez, and then fighting AJ. You know, the other two you can get just humiliated and schooled and beaten up a little bit. The other one you can be fully decapitated in. So you got to be careful and you got to be smart. And I know you want the money, I know you want the big moments, but this ain't a game.
Jake does the same things he does when he's not big. He talks very loudly. He keeps going. He tries to beat them in his mind before they even fight. It's a hot time. How you feel on a scale of 100? And Jake is a great fit for his bad guy role. He needs clips. He wants to be in the news. Did he really just threaten to kill Anthony Joshua? He wants everyone to ask. Also, guess what? It works. It caught on with the web, but it did something else that Jake might not have thought of.
You know, don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know. But I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point, and he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Do you think it's competitive? A lot of people are saying if AJ doesn't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it'll be a huge embarrassment.
I don't think that's not the case, that he's gonna get Jake Paul. At the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training hard too, and you know, he's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he would take him out in 2-3 rounds. I think maybe in the later rounds, or it might go to decision, you know, but I don't think that Jake Paul can take AJ out. I mean, or AJ could take Jake Paul. Maybe, you know, but I don't know. It's just going to be an exciting fight. I think I want to see that fight, to be honest with you.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
It made Anthony Joshua wake up, because this is how things really are for AJ. This fight is just meant to be a paycheck, a tune-up, and a quick run-out. Eddie Hearn said it's a chance to beat a YouTuber for tens of millions of dollars, stay busy, keep his name in the news, and then go straight to a big fight with Tyson Fury in 2026. All of a sudden, the safety conversations that Ariel Helwani and David Haye were having took on a new tone.
The Joshua thing is crazy.
Is that a real conversation?
Jake's a fucking lunatic, and it's probably real. I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxer conversation is gone forever.
Helwani said, "Safety is the real question in this fight. Not hype, not views, not legacy, but safety. Since everyone knows what AJ did to Francis Ngannou, one good shot. It had been way too long for the former UFC heavyweight king to be lying flat on the ground. David Haye did a lot more. He made it clear, if the referee isn't careful, an attack from Anthony Joshua could be Jake Paul's last moments. That's not how things usually go before a fight. Guys who have been in there have said they are worried.
Well, if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
But Jake thinks this is his whole goal. He knows that the other person has stronger weapons than him. He knows that AJ has a lot more rounds under the lights, more knowledge, more power, and more technical skill. Jake is trying to win in the one area he knows how to do well, telling stories.
Jake Paul, we've seen what he can do, and at a level he's very good. You know, the people who he's been fighting, he's been better than a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. He's better than a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he was better than what he was. But once again, these are guys who aren't current, who aren't, you know, ranked in the world right now at heavyweight, and who weren't Olympic gold medalists. Who, you know, this is something completely and utterly different for Jake Paul. And I think, you know, it appears though he lives his life like he can make he's manifesting everything, and he's working up until now. But yeah, I think maybe this is a step too far for him. Dangerous contest, you know, if you look at the fight that Tommy Fury had with, I thought Jake Paul beat Tommy Fury when they fought. It was a close fight. I think he put him down in the last round. I thought he won the fight. But he didn't. He lost the fight on points. You know, now you're trying to... I know this fight was a little while ago and he's improved since then, but has he improved to the level where he can beat Anthony Joshua? I haven't seen anything to suggest that. And yeah, it's a crazy fight for him to take, but credit to him. If he is going to put himself in harm's way for everyone's entertainment and fight Anthony Joshua, you know, God bless him, because, you know, he's taking it to the limit. You know, some people, when I was a kid and I said I'll be heavyweight champion of the world, everyone said you're crazy, and I made it happen. He's doing the same thing. He's not saying to be world champion. He's saying he's going to fight Anthony Joshua and he'll beat Anthony Joshua. He believes it, and if he can manifest it, then I'll be there ringside to see it in action.
Tank Davis wanted to show who the real boxers were, so he went into the Lion's Den much bigger than the other fighters. People were very angry about that fight because it brought up issues like clown fights, influencer boxing, and whether Tank was giving up his reputation for Netflix money. A lot of pros said Tank no longer cared about the sport and was only interested in money. Things are different now that AJ is around. No one thinks Joshua is putting his reputation at risk. Some people think Joshua is putting Jake's life in danger. In this kill line, the matchup makes things even more dangerous. So let's talk about that for a moment. Anthony Joshua is naturally a heavyweight. He is 6 feet 6 inches and has a huge body. He has won championships, Olympic gold, and fights at 245 pounds and up. He stopped and dropped fighters who weighed 260 pounds. Icon Jake Paul is a cruiserweight who has done well for himself. He does have some real wins, though. Anderson Silva, Mike Perry, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and Tyson, who was tired. Having power is his. He is on time. He stays disciplined. And his skills have gotten a lot better in the last 2 years.
What happens when, I think we both know, but for the sake of saying it specifically, if the two of them do collide in the ring,
Josh and Jake.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
But there is a difference between boxing older, smaller, or more worn-out guys and facing Anthony Joshua with all of your attention. Some people think that AJ is past his best, but the weight limit for this fight has been set at about 245 pounds for Joshua. It's likely that Jake will weigh between 205 and 220 pounds. That's still 20 to 30 pounds, plus height, reach, and years of fighting at the highest level. There is no David versus Goliath here. The guy who plays David on YouTube is up against Goliath. Why do people like Ariel Helwani ask, is Jake at a very high risk of getting seriously hurt in this fight?
And we've got Anthony Joshua, AJ, you get me? What a legend. And we've got Jake Paul, he's a legend as well. Now, AJ is facing a lot of backlash because he's fighting Jake Paul. Understand, man, it's like football, you get me? You play for Barcelona, when you get older, you start going down a bit, and then everything is about money, yes? Run it up. Now, everyone wants to see the Tyson Fury against AJ fight. We've been seeing it, but we've seen Alexander Usyk. He's been doing our guys wrong. He's been just winning. He's been in the way. So, my take on this is, it's dangerous for Jake Paul. Get me? A lot of people, Eddie Hearn, Dana White. I just done a full YouTube anyway. Just watch the full YouTube because, you know, there's a lot of people that's reacted to it, you get me? So, full YouTube out now.
That being said, why did Jake go this far at the press conference? Some of this has to do with branding. Jake made a living by being a bothersome person. It's partly because of the stress, and some of it is just fear. Jake's confidence was hurt when his fight with Gervonta had to be called off. Influencer boxing is being made fun of by everyone. Some say you stay away from real fighters. He is now facing a real killer. He has to act like he really thinks he can win, or the whole trick will fall apart. He talks a lot. He talks crazy. It sounds like he doesn't fully understand what is being said. At the same time, Anthony Joshua is in a strange position. Respect and business go hand in hand for AJ. He knows this is a circus-style fight. He's heard other fighters say that, but he knows that the money isn't worth it. This could be one of his biggest paydays ever for an 8-round fight in Miami against a YouTuber, whose videos get a lot more views than a random opponent in a small stadium.
They're talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
I know, I saw that.
Jake Paul apparently wants that fight. And he agreed to, I think it was 99% to 1, where Joshua gets 99% of the money and he gets 1%.
Jake Paul probably doesn't care about the money.
Well,
but
he has plenty of money, and if he won, oh my God, if he beat Anthony Joshua, good Lord. I mean, that's a big if. Right? Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, former heavyweight champion of the world. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good Lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yeah, I just think it's all about the promotion or whatever. That fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
In order to explain, Hearn keeps saying that this is not a show. This is a real fight. These are the Queensberry restrictions. 10 Oz gloves and no hat. Don't get it wrong. It's possible for someone to get hurt there.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what, a lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they finally been waiting for.
In the end, where does this leave the problem? Jake Paul is still where he wants to be. It's a circus. Stephen A. Smith is screaming in the middle of the conversation. Ariel Helwani is scared. And fans are arguing about whether he's brave or crazy. That puts Anthony Joshua in a spot we've never seen him before. Not as the bad guy or the good guy, but almost as the ultimate boss of Impact Boxing. Does Jake have the nerve to walk into a fire? Yes. AJ, are you smart enough to use that against him? Most sure. What do you think? Jake Paul is talking himself into a beating he might never fully recover from. Is he really ready for Anthony Joshua's smoke? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like the movie and follow Fight Motive. The next film will be with you.